Hi everyone, welcome back to One-Handed Cooking with Paulette. I'm glad you joined me today. I have a special recipe to share with you. It's one that when I was growing up, I remember my mom preparing, especially during those cold winter months. I'm hoping that you will enjoy this recipe because it's not only nutritious, but certainly is one of those soups that just makes you feel good. When you have something that's warm and nutritious, it really hits the spot, especially for either lunch or for dinner. I think it's a perfect recipe for you. So enjoy. Let's take a look at today's ingredients for our escarole meatball soup. First of all, we're going to want to have some chicken broth, or you may prefer to have stock. We're going to need at least 12 cups. Then our escarole. Make sure that you have a nice full bunch of escarole. This recipe calls for 4 carrots, but I'm cheating today. I'm going to use these pre-cut petite carrots. They work just as well. Then we have our 1 pound of beef, but you can also choose veal, and also ground turkey works really well. An egg, minced onion, salt and pepper, and of course some breadcrumbs. And then we have Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. So these are all the ingredients for today's healthy recipe. Here we are at step 1. I've already cleaned my escarole, and it's really important that you really pull it apart and really rinse it well. I put it in a bowl, and now according to the directions, we want to put it into strips. Do you think that I can do that with one hand? Well, let me show you a little trick. They're not going to be strips, but watch. So you see I'll have some fairly long pieces here, and obviously you don't want that in your soup because it's going to be hard to spoon. So guess what I use? My pizza cutter, because all I have to do is go like this, and I've got it chopped up sufficiently in size that it will do very well in this soup now. The one thing I tend to do, and that is to put all my ingredients, say for instance the carrots, the escarole, before I go ahead and I put the 12 cups of chicken broth. Very good reason. Right now, I can lift this, but if I were to put 12 cups of chicken broth in here, I wouldn't be able to do it and get it over to the stove. So if you're like me, what you're going to do is just get all of this taken care of first, chop it up, and then you will go ahead and just put the carrots in together, put your carrots together, and then the last thing will be is to pour in your 12 cups of chicken broth. So again, a very handy tool that has more than one purpose other than just cutting pizza. It is great to do one-handed. If you need to cut strips or whatever, works great. And that is step 1. And now we are ready for step 2. While our escarole is cooking and becoming tender, we can prepare our meatballs. And these meatballs are really tasty because they have some really good ingredients. So let's take a look. I have already gone ahead and I have put in a 1/2 cup of Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, and also some breadcrumbs, salt and pepper. You may choose to use kosher salt if you prefer. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the egg to our mixture for our meatballs. So what it does is it really kind of pulls together the egg in with all of our really good ingredients. Our beef, our Parmigiano Reggiano cheese as well. So we're just kind of mix this up and get it ready here for meatball preparation. What I have found is I love using parchment paper again, because it allows me to go ahead and form the meatballs and set them down. And then later on, after the escarole is completely cooked, I can go ahead and just add the meatballs. So let's go ahead, take a look at the size of what we're going to do. I like them, they're about maybe an inch in size. So that's what I prefer. And so I go ahead and I will prepare all the meatballs, and then I will put them into the soup and cook them for about another 20 minutes. And guess what? Your meal's done and it's ready to go. Here's our finished product. Now be honest, wasn't this a really simple recipe? I mean, all you had to do was take care of that escarole, get it clean, chopped, put it in with some chicken broth, you add seasonings, you work on the meatballs with some breadcrumbs and Parmesan Reggiano cheese. I mean, what more could you ask for? Such a simple recipe, but yet very nutritious. Escarole has a lot of fiber in it. So, and it's one of those vegetables that you can add to almost any soup and get a really good flavor. The other thing I wanted to point out is that I love serving this with additional cheese on top. So I hope that you take that into consideration when you prepare this wonderful dish. I hope you enjoy escarole with meatball soup, and you try it real soon.